What is going on, my beautiful people? Hope you guys are having an amazing day. In this video, what we're going to talk about is how do we compress God's truth into our lives. That's a beautiful thing. If we can start to compress the ability, the things in scripture, the concepts, the ideas, these higher ways of thinking, if we can start to bring them into our lives, wanting to go after that joy, love, and peace and how it works best for us, that is the real unlock for how we actually get it into our lives. Because a lot of times we're trying, we hear it, we see sermons, we read scripture, but then all of a sudden we go into our lives and it just is falling through the cracks. We're not able to call upon those things. They aren't actually internalized. They aren't actually in us. And it becomes hard because we want that to happen. We want to have that on the inside. We want to be living in God and have that as our identity, but we don't know exactly how to. This is a problem that I was having because I was learning a lot of stuff, but it was hard to really, I just really wanted to capture it internally. And the reason why I really saw how powerful that was is when I took the time to look at the story of David and Joseph, and I just kind of mapped it out into like 5 points of a story and kind of like I gave it in a video. And what that really did is it pretty much internalized it. I've always heard the story of David and Joseph, but doing that simple thing really helped me internalize those things. So I wanted a different method with that without having to always sit down and, we don't want to have to pinpoint everything that we're doing, but how can we take this stuff into our lives? So here's a method that I created and a little bit of a way that helped me create this. So firstly, I play Call of Duty, and when I play Call of Duty, I like to get better at it. I play at a very high level and I like to get better at it. So I'm always looking at the best ways of getting better, and I'm learning stuff in there too on my free time, just trying to play the game, have fun. One of the ways that worked very well for me is taking small main ideas / principles of how to play the game and taking it into actively playing the game. Because the thing I was having a hard time with, I would learn things even in Call of Duty, just like we all do in life. We learn things for certain things, and then you try to go into the game and you're trying to like remember everything that you were doing, and it's all gone. It's all completely gone, and it's hard to grasp for it in that moment. So what I would have to do is find 3 things that I wanted to carry in, main ideas, big things that have hit me that I know can change the way I play, and I take them into the game. But also on the outside, I would visualize, okay, how does that really look in the game? How does this actually going to apply to the game? How is that going to be here? And then really just being able to get an understanding of how that concept looks so that I actually understand it, and then taking them and having them in front of mine. I like to do a mind palace, which is basically having 3 things, basically just visually remembering that, or you can just write them down, the 3 principles / main ideas that you want to remember, and just keep refreshing those in your mind while you're playing and while you're doing that thing. And what it does is it allows you to your mind starts to apply it and rewire how you view that thing for that. So this is something that we can do for scripture. This is something we can do for God's truth, or just for anything that you're trying to learn. And what I realized is that I could do that same exact thing for my life. So like things like going after joy, going after realizing that our confidence is in God, realizing that we can trust God. Those are 3 principles that I really love. And now what I was able to do, and what we can all do, is all you have to do is find one simple phrase for that. For me, it's like trust God, or confidence in God, or choose joy. Those are simple phrases that I have in my mind, and I'm carrying them for this day. This one day I'm carrying those 3 things, and it's allowing it to be honed into my mind, because that's what I'm living. That's what I'm trying to get better at. If you're an athlete, take 3 things that you want to do. Maybe it's like set better screens as a basketball player, or always have off ball movement, or just trying to relax while you're playing. Those 3 things are things that you can carry into your mind. I have a max of about 3. Any more than that, I will just not be able to hold it. But when you're holding that in the mind, what you're just doing is allowing it to wire in. You're thinking about it to the point where eventually you don't have to think about it no more. It's just a part of who you are. It's so internalized. That concept is actually who you are. But what we have to also do is, when you find something that you learn, to test your understanding of it, what I want you to do is, so you can write it down in notes, or you can do it mentally in your mind. All you have to do is a concept called what, so what, now what. What is basically saying, what is that thing what is the main idea of that? So what is, why is that so important? Now what is how you are going to apply it to your life. That's the tactical part of it. You're thinking about how that applies to your situation, the thing that you want to get better at. In communication, it's like, okay, I'll give you an example, like staying calm under pressure, or leaning on God's grace in a social event. Being able to say, what is that? Being able to lean on God's grace in a social event means not needing it to be a certain way, just trusting God to be in there and moving, doing what you can in that moment. Why is it so important? Because it allows us to take the pressure off no matter how the outcome goes. Now what? just lean on God's grace by saying, for your grace is sufficient for me. That's me. I just came up with that right now. That's what would help me understand that I really know that concept of for your grace is sufficient for me. And then what you're also going to do is you want to have a visual anchor, or just some kind of anchor that helps you really understand it. So what this anchor is basically either a story, an example, an analogy, or like a scripture verse. I like scripture verses too. Just something that helps you kind of like emotionally get it down. And that can be a plethora of different things. For that, your grace is sufficient for me. There's a story in the Bible of Paul. That's what I have for that. That's all you're trying to do. You're trying to have that there. So it's kind of, what I like to do is for my memory palace is basically you can place like a vivid memory of something, or a vivid image of something in your mind of a place that you're very familiar with. And it allows you to remember that specific thing. And I like to have that story for the main idea, have a little visual image for the story in the memory palace, and that's what I'm carrying throughout my day. So I have 3 of those, carrying those throughout my day, and it's basically re-anchoring the story, rewiring the story and the main idea into me throughout my day, and it helps us actually internalize these things. And then you can also just simply have a visualization of you applying that in your life somewhere, anything like that. But that's all it is. That's really as simple as it is. You're just kind of breaking it down so that you actually understand the concept, and you're taking that little phrase into your day so that it can start to get wired. And what I've noticed is that this actually helps me deeply understand these things, but deeply actually wire my brain into these. Because I knew about the joy of the Lord, the love of the Lord, the peace of the Lord. But sometimes these things were just falling through. And all of a sudden, every time you're learning something, you're starting to learn, or you're starting to look for like certain ways of understanding it. You're starting to test your own understanding while you're doing it. You're starting to look for stories. You're trying to look for examples. You're making your own of like, okay, this is kind of like, sometimes I'll be doing something, I'm learning something, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like how in basketball, if you're doing this, this, and this, that actually means this. I did this for communication, like just trying to play. I'll give you an example of one that I just did today. It's a beautiful example. So one of the concepts I wanted to understand is being able to still try and play even when you are tired, you're not in it, you're not in the flow state. So I was like, in communication, sometimes we're going to go out there and we're not going to be in that flow state, and there's going to be people out there and you're probably going to look stupid, but you still want to put yourself out there even if you're not in that flow state, still trying and giving full effort of whatever you have that day, even though it might not look like your normal self. And the example that I made in my head and that really worked is, it's kind of like in basketball. If you think about this guy named Victor Wembanyama who plays for the San Antonio Spurs, he recently played a couple of games and he didn't do his normal self. He wasn't playing like his normal self. After the game, they asked him, what was going on, man? Like, are you okay? And he said, yeah, I haven't been getting my sleep the usual, and I just need to get back on my routine. So, even though his sleep was off, even though he was feeling off, he probably wasn't in that flow state, he was still going out there trying his best, and his presence was impactful. That is the same thing that we can do as communicators, going out there and being able to continue to go out there, try to play our best. And that's all you got to give in that moment. And you continue to get better even off of that. That is a way of understanding it that really freaking helped me understand that main idea. And that's one of the ones that I'm carrying into this day. And it's really being internalized in me, so much so that I can give it to you guys. So this is a way, the next time that you find something that you really want to carry into your life, that you really want to get into your heart and soul, just find that one simple phrase, or kind of like ask yourself, what is the what, so what, now what? Make a story, or find a story, example, analogy, anything like that, and really hone those together. You could just literally put it in small little phrases in a notes, and then carry the 3 phrases into your life and have them in your mind. Go a couple of days with those, and they will be internalized so well that you can get on video and give it to other people. Love you guys very much, man. Hope you guys are doing amazing. I'll talk to you on the next video. Peace.